What's up guys, Eli here. Today we're going to talk about built versus bought. Now, this is a heated topic in the car community because people are very opinionated on this matter. Either you have people who say you should buy a car that's completely bone stock and modify it all your own, and you have people who say, well, why should I do that? Why can't I just save money and buy an already modified car? Now, my thoughts on the matter are, it depends on the car. Now, that's a really wishy-washy answer. I'm gonna explain it. I think the main problem with this built versus bought thing is people claiming that other people's work is their own. Now, if you're gonna buy a car that's already built, don't go on Instagram the day after you bought it and say, just built this car, because you didn't. You did not do that. Let's be honest. You did not build that car. Someone else built that car, and you paid someone for that hard work. There's also something to be said for the feeling that you get of building your own car. That feeling of accomplishment when you say, hey, you know, I know every single part on this car, I know exactly when it went on, I know exactly who installed it, and I know exactly how it was installed. So I think when it's okay to buy a modified car, if you will, is when there are light modifications done to it. I think that's when it's a smart decision. Let's say there's an intake and exhaust and maybe a basic tune on the car. I think that's a great purchase because then you really don't have to pay for the intake, exhaust, or the tune. And if the person's asking for the intake, exhaust, and tune price on top of the car price, no, you're not paying that. Do not pay that. Basically, if a car is lightly modified and you can buy it, you're probably going to get it for around the price that you would have gotten a stock one, and you already have a head start on it. But the flip side of that is, I see people, you know, on Craigslist every now and then, there's Stage 3 big turbo GTI for sale. I would stay far away from that. Not only because everybody's gonna make fun of you because you didn't put a single ounce of work into that car, you just bought it and suddenly you have a fast car, but also because you have no idea what's done to that car. This person could literally say anything. They could tell you it has a built motor, whatever. Turns out the inside of the motor is stuck. You're not gonna open the motor up to check. If they have pictures and stuff like that, obviously it's a different story. But I would stay away from buying built cars per se. I think lightly modified cars are a good buy. Stock cars can also be a horrible buy because if the car has been stock its whole life, chances are, unless you're buying like a car that's known to be owned by enthusiasts, chances are it's probably not owned by an enthusiast. I can tell you that my car, when I bought it with 86,000 miles on it, was definitely not owned by an enthusiast. It was owned by some person who drove a lot of miles on the highway because the car was absolutely bone stock. There was nothing changed on it whatsoever. Now, it's nice to have a clean slate like that, but I could have gotten so unlucky. I could have gotten some guy who just bought the car to buy the car, didn't change the oil except for like every 30,000 miles or something like that, didn't take it to the dealership, didn't do anything, didn't wash it. But, you know, I looked out for things, I had the car looked over, and that made it good. So, built, not bought, I don't know where that comes from. I think the best decision when you're picking up a car is buy one that has service records, and if you can buy a lightly modified one that's been owned by an enthusiast, chances are, yeah, it's been driven a little bit harder than your average car, but at the same time, that person has probably maintained that car, or at least knows what they're doing when it comes to that car, change the oil every 5,000 miles, stuff like that. I guess what I'm trying to say with this video is, I hate the whole, oh, you bought that car, you didn't build it. Well, first of all, if it has an exhaust and an intake and a tune and maybe some lowering springs and wheels, that's not really built, that's just modified. I think that's a great purchase. I think if you can get those parts at a discounted rate and they were the parts that you were gonna buy anyway, why not do it? But at the same time, you have to be careful going too far to the extreme of buying a built car and then just chasing gremlins, mechanical gremlins, electrical gremlins, all that stuff for the whole life of the car until you sell it to another person who wants to buy a built car. You also just don't get the pride in already buying a fast built car that you would if you built that car to be fast yourself. Now, granted, it does, you know, you're gonna get those parts for a lot cheaper, but you really don't know how much of an improvement you've made on the car until you drive it in stock or almost stock form, and then you slowly start modifying it. Then you can say, oh hey, this is much better when it was stock, and it's because of me, as opposed to, oh hey, this is much faster than the stock one that I just raced. but it's because I bought it that way. Those are just my thoughts. This is a short little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take it easy. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.